What's up, my bitter bros? Bitter Maniac here. Conference finals in the NBA are finally decided, and boy, what a shot it was by Kawhi Leonard to send the Raptors over the 76ers in a Game 7. It was epic. The Trailblazers Nuggets one didn't disappoint either necessarily. Just some questionable decisions at the end, kind of lessened the excitement just a wee bit. Now, this sets up a matchup of first, I should put both teams that are actively in here, to better represent each series. The first one, we have the Golden State Warriors hosting the Portland Trailblazers, who, if you don't know, if you weren't paying attention, like I said, the Trailblazers took the Denver Nuggets to Game 7, won in Denver without one of their better players in Yusuf Nurkic, who is still out for the rest of the year. His replacement Enes Kanter, I believe, is still suffering from a separated shoulder, but playing through it. And the Warriors, on the other hand, beat the Rockets in 6, even after KD went down in between games 5 and 6. The Rockets still couldn't manage to even win one of the last two games, which is kind of sad. I expected them to win Game 6, but I thought they would have lost Game 7 anyway. So that sets up an interesting matchup of the 1 seed and the 3 seed. Reason why this is so interesting is I'm not sure the extent of Kevin Durant's injury, how far it will take him out of the series, and that could very well end up determining this series if Kevin Durant can't play. If you look at the Trailblazers lineup and you think about if Kevin Durant is playing for the Warriors, you think maybe who matches up with Kevin Durant, who can probably do the best job of defending Durant when you absolutely have to. You could think Farouk Aminu, you could think Maurice Harkless. I don't think either of those guys could really do it. You could think Miles Leonard, who I think would do reasonable, fouls way too often though. You could think about one of those younger big men like that. But I think honestly Enes Kanter would be the best bet there. But even then, they don't really have anybody that matches up with a guy like Durant much at all. So if Durant was completely healthy, I'd say the Warriors win this one in 5. But with his injury status uncertain, I'm going to pick the Warriors in 6 here. I want to go into the matchup a little bit, so I hope you don't mind. We have probably one of the best guard matchups between the 1 and 2s on both teams that I have seen in the playoffs in recent years, and I'm talking like the last 5, 6, 7 years. This is incredible. You have Klay Thompson, one of the best defending guards in the league, and also a deadly, deadly shooter capable of going off. Does slump, does get cold a lot, but same thing with CJ McCollum's counterpart. CJ, one of the best mid-range shooters in the league, in my opinion, at least at the 2 spot. Can shoot the 3, not as reliably, kind of lives in that mid-range game. Solid defense, can go off every night if he needs to. Problem is, he just doesn't tend to get it going every night. But this matchup here is incredible. Can CJ manage to produce? Because if the Trailblazers are going to upset, they have to have CJ produce. And they're probably going to be stuck with Klay Thompson guarding him because Thompson is a monster. Or the Warriors could go bold and put Thompson on Lillard, where Lillard is probably the deadliest shooter on the Trailblazers. No offense to CJ, but Lillard can shoot 37-foot bombs like Steph Curry. It's going to be an interesting matchup. 4 of the best shooting guards in the league that I can think of. Not the top 4, but I'm saying 4 of the best. It's going to be an incredible matchup. I think the most underrated matchup, and probably the matchup that might determine this series, is going to be Kanter against Draymond Green. Because, like I said, if Durant is out of this game, I think Kanter and Draymond Green will find themselves matched up as well. And it's not necessarily the defense or the offense of either of these players that's going to determine this series, at least in my mind. I apologize, I have the hiccups. It's going to be mentality. I know that's a weird thing to say, but Draymond Green has a habit of getting technicals and getting fouls and getting mad. But so does Kanter. Kanter has an attitude on him as well. I feel like one of these guys is going to egg on the other, and if they can get each other into foul trouble early, it could limit what their team is capable of doing. But, like that being said, I think even though Durant should probably be hampered in the first couple games, I think the Warriors end it relatively soon, win it in about 4 or 5, or win it in about 5 or 6 games. I'm going to go 6 to be safe, just because I think the Trailblazers are very capable of winning at least a couple games, and it should be a good one. That brings me to the next one. We have the team that beat my Boston Celtics, mainly because if you don't play as a team, you can't win. So that kind of sucked. Everyone kind of played for themselves, but the Bucks played as a team and they won. They face a team that I honestly at one point did not think would make it past the 76ers. Hold on, I have a sneeze coming. Jesus, I muted my mic just in time. That was loud. I love this matchup here. I absolutely love this matchup here. Get Giannis Antetokounmpo, probably more so against Kawhi Leonard or possibly a Serge Ibaka if they want to go length on him. You got Brook Lopez against Marc Gasol. That's going to be a very, very interesting matchup as well. But my matchup to watch in this series is definitely going to be Brogdon. Because, yeah, Brogdon I think should come back healthy in this series. It's going to be Brogdon against Lowry and Green. And I think defensively, honestly, if I was the Bucks, I would put Brogdon on Kawhi Leonard. I know the matchup doesn't seem like it would necessarily work on paper, but with Brogdon on Leonard, I think you can put Giannis more on a Pascal Siakam type, prevent the mid-range and in-game for the Raptors, at least limit it as well. Brook Lopez is a solid guy, had some foul trouble against the Celtics, and didn't shoot so well from the three, so that would be interesting as well. Middleton Bledsoe pose problems on offense as well. They're good shooters, but they are wildly inconsistent. But the key for them and the Bucks to win this series is for them to be showing up defensively. Kyle Lowry has shown up about as often as an absentee parent. It's kind of sad how often he just disappears in the flow of the game, especially when the Raptors get in a rhythm. You don't often hear from Kyle Lowry necessarily, and I think that's going to be the nail in the coffin. If they can limit Lowry's effectiveness, not necessarily shooting, because Lowry doesn't often shoot too well. He's not really that kind of player. If they can limit his ball movement, make Kawhi Leonard do it, especially if you have a Brogdon type tenacious defender on Kawhi Leonard, and you have the inside game kind of eliminated with Pascal Siakam with Giannis on him, it's going to be interesting. What's going to be interesting here is there was kind of a lot of bad calls favoring the 76ers in the Raptors 76ers series. So it's going to be interesting to see how someone who kind of gets favored by the referees a little bit in Giannis. Yes, he beat my team. Yes, they honestly deserved to win that series, so I'm not too salty about that at all. A little bit, yeah. Most fans of any team are probably gonna say the refs made some bad calls against them, but that's no big deal. They won. They're in the next round. This series is gonna be a good one. I could realistically see this one going to 7 games. I think it's going to be all about who shoots better. Mainly because the Bucks are one of the best defensive teams in the league. That's kind of what carried them in games 2, 3, 4, and 5. You also have the Raptors, who are a very capable defensive team, very capable offensive team. But you don't necessarily see the huge punch that potentially the Celtics had to take down the Bucks. So I'm going to go Bucks here, but I'm going to go Bucks in 7. I think it's going to be a long series. I don't think Kawhi's going to have another 4-bounce shot. I'm not underestimating the Raptors whatsoever either. I just think, honestly, it comes down to defense. I'm not going to go some cheesy shit and say defense wins championships. I'm just going to say I think the Bucks defense is going to do the right things when it matters. And it's going to be just enough. And if you look at their superstars, Kawhi Leonard versus Giannis more physically gifted, probably the best player going to be on the court. Overall player, though, if I had to take offense and defense, would probably be Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard can shoot. He can shoot from range, shoot from the inside, shoot from mid-range. He can defend all 3 of those ranges as well, where Giannis is more of an inside shooter. But can shoot the three, but your probably preferred game method isn't going to be Giannis shooting the three. So like I said, Warriors in probably 6, Bucks probably in 7. Pit the two number 1 seeds against each other. And one reason why I would love to see that series is Giannis versus Kevin Durant would be epic. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on the conference finals. I might post another video going into the just NBA finals, but we'll see. What do you guys think of the 4 series, preferably the 2 Game 7s, because those were epic. I'm hoping that the conference finals go to Game 7s, just because I think that would be epic as well. And I hope the NBA finals goes to 7 games, because that would be seeing Giannis versus Durant in a Game 7 of the NBA finals would be amazing. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a good day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.